Hello, friends! Oh wow, this camera is very bright. Maybe I should fix that. Like, you'd never know that I actually got up early and set up this stream early, because I always have to fix something. There's just always something. Okay, less ghost-like. Good. How's everybody doing? You survived the holidays. I also survived the holidays, although I mostly just hibernated and tried to do as little as possible. It was a good strategy, I think. How's the audio volume? Is it too high, too low? Let me know. So, this is where we got 2 weeks ago. I took a week off because holidays. I just wanted to relax. So, the only thing that I did off stream was I finished up the few little bits of blocking out the gold, and then I threw the wash on, just because that's kind of boring, I think, for people. So, like, to watch that dry, I find it boring. That's what I like to do last thing at night, is throw any washes on. So, this is where we're at, and today we are going to put the highlights on the gold. Hey, how's it going? Happy New Year! So, yeah, I'm gonna mix this up, and normally what I do is I take that same copper color that we base coated with. Oh, if you're interested, I washed it with Reichland Flesh Shade, so it's not like a very dark kind of shade, because this is going to be like a lighter rose gold is kind of what we're going for. So I'm going to go in with this copper color and white gold. If this doesn't give me enough like of a difference between the copper, then I might add a little bit of this. This color is like one of my favorites, light bronze. But I'm going to start with this because I don't want too much yellow in it. I want it to track more like a rose gold. So we're going to start with these ones. Good morning. So did you all have good holidays? My furnace broke, so that was fun. But we have a new one and no money. Yay! Right, Ryan? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so these colors are quite hydrophilic. So, you don't, like, I try to use as little water on these as possible. But I've had these ones forever, so I probably do need to thin them at least a little bit. Although this one doesn't look too bad. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. So I'm going to start off by mixing quite a bit onto the palette. And then as we mix the highlights, because I need to have enough in there that I can keep mixing the next highlight layers, so I am going to start with like a hefty amount. Why is this brush all messed up? Did I get glue on this one? I got glue on that one. Gorzag Bone Ripper. What an amazing username. Wah, welcome. I hope that the holidays have been amazing for everybody. You might be asking why I'm not using the applicator. I don't know why these applicators just don't like me. I can't control as much that comes out in these older bottles, so I just don't like to use it. So, and a lot of times the bead gets stuck in there and then it's just like a hassle, so I just open them up. Is that gonna be enough? No, I better put more in. Okay, that looks better. Don't thin your paints, it's all about one thick coat. Well, kind of. My husband over there says yes. It depends on your paint. Monument Hobbies tends to come pretty thin out of the bottle. However, like I said, I've had these ones for years, so they've thickened up a little bit, so they're kind of more like the consistency of a Citadel paint when you buy it off the rack. Dry? No, not quite. I said when you just get it off the rack. Speaking of one thick coat, Friday on Scarredcast's channel, we're back with Just Put Paint on It after a 2-week break, and our guest is Duncan Rhodes. So if you would like an opportunity to ask Duncan questions, or, you know, just enjoy his kind of interesting sense of humor, I highly recommend that you guys stop by on Friday or check out the stream after the fact, because we do send those off to a YouTube playlist, so you can check them out easier. Okay. So when I add a little bit of the white gold to the color, the copper color, it does turn it more into like a rose gold kind of color, which I really love. So I'm gonna go on and start. Well, I'm gonna check it first and see if I like how light that is, and then I'll start painting on those highlights. Aw, Chris, it's all good. You know, life throws you curveballs, and sometimes you just gotta be really thankful for your good credit. Which I am. Okay, I do like this color for the first highlight. It's like subtle, but I like it. Make sure I'm like actually in frame. Hey, look at that. I know a lot of people like to do non-metallic metals, but I'm really focusing on learning because I'm an army painter first and foremost, so I don't really have the time to do all that stuff. So I think one of the things I want to work on this year is getting better at true metallic metals, because I think it's also really hard to master getting a good depth out of your metallic paints. And that's just something that I want to work on for myself. I've always struggled with metallics, and I've sort of leaned really heavily on dry brushing to make it look passable, and I think it's time for me to really get some more mileage out of my kind of extensive collection of metallic colors. So that's one of the things that I want to work on this year. But I say work on, like, loosely, because in general, like, I'm pretty happy with my painting, so I'm not gonna beat myself up too much if I can't figure it out. But it's just something I'm gonna experiment with and see if I can, I guess, mimic my paint style in opaque paints with metallic paints. So I don't know if you can actually see the difference in this. This is basically just cleaning up the washed areas, and it is a little bit brighter. So, but we're gonna do a couple more layers on this. So you'll see me sort of build it up a little bit as we go. Yet to use them yet because reasons. We all have sort of like hordes of stuff, right? Better to have more than you need than need more than you have. I agree. However, I think that our paint collection in this house is a little bit ridiculous. Although it's almost organized. Did you finish organizing it? More or less. So at least we're able to find all of our paints, and we've got like organizers for basing materials and stuff. So like we're getting there. I am like really enjoying painting this Keeper of Secrets, which is really weird because I didn't really enjoy painting anything else in this Slaanesh army when I had it. So I guess that looks pretty good for me painting some other things for you. Yeah. Because yes, this one here is it's not for me. I won't be playing. Slaanesh isn't my vibe on the table. I think they are my vibe aesthetically, but if I'm not gonna play with the models, I just would rather give them to somebody who will. And that's how the Warmistress got my Slaanesh models. I think I'm gonna do the gems on this because you see there's all these gems along here. I think I'm gonna do them Warlord purple, just to add like another kind of clashing element. I also think that they would look really good. Warlord purple would look really good with the rose gold kind of color I'm aiming for. So it's January 2nd, and that's like the year, or the time of the year where I sort of like to make goals for myself. Last year, my goal was to get out and walk more, and I did that every day. I kind of like fell off my 8 to 10 kilometer goal these past couple weeks, so that's partly because my dog has been acting up. He's a crazy teenager, so he gets a little rowdy when there's too much going on, so we've had to like cut our walks shorter so he doesn't get kind of like overstimulated. But I'm hoping to get back on that. So we're probably gonna like try and do some longer walks, him and I, in the middle of the day and see how that goes. So that was my goal last year. I think this year I'd like to drink more water because I feel like I was really bad at that. I say as I don't have water beside me. I've got a half and half mango juice and water. It kind of counts, I guess. What else would I like to do? I think I'd like to hibernate a little bit this year. Last year I took a bit more of a leading role in the local community, and I think it's just time for me to step back this year and let other people sort of take the reins, is what I think. And funny enough, I want to play less. And I want to be really choosy about who I play this year, so I'm going to be playing on Tabletop Simulator. Hey, Maya, speaking of, I would like to play you on Tabletop Simulator, Maya, if you're down for it. Hey Zan, how's it going? Goals at the beginning of the year? Shocking. Yeah, see, but I like to say goals instead of resolutions because um I am extremely goal oriented and pretty much like a self-driven kind of person. I don't really seek a lot of outside validation to do things. Also, if you can hear that helicopter, I'm so sorry. That is a helicopter, right?
I should say so, yeah.
Man,
It's just really low.
what are they doing? Anyway, okay, that's gone. Um, so I like to make goals. So like, I like to say I'm gonna do this by this time. You know, like definite goals instead of just like I'm gonna go to the gym more. No, well, I mean that is a resolution. It's not a goal. Um, so I want to drink like an extra liter of water a day. I think that's like a good goal, right? Because that's every day. And I'll maybe drink less coffee. So I played at least one game a week last year. I think I would like to play one game every 2 weeks. I guess what I would like to do. What else? Oh, I finished my December pledge. I made myself a painting pledge because I wasn't really being consistent. So I wanted to finish 4 Iron Guts, Kurdos Valentian. I wanted to finish 10 Blade Geists. What else was there? A Fire Belly and 2 Mournfane Pack Riders. And I did it. My stretch goal was to also build my Cadia Stands box, and I just did not get to that. But that was just like if I got everything else done. But I got the painting pledge done, so I'm very happy about that. Hey, Happy New Year, everybody. I'm working on building a PC so I can do exactly that. Oh, sick. Okay, well, we'll have to, like... sick. We'll have to, like, make a plan to play, like, once a month or something. I see the difference. The goal is more strictly quantifiable. Yes. Yes, because otherwise it's not really a goal. It's more like a wish. If that makes sense. Right? Like, it's like you won't be accountable to actually complete your resolutions if you don't have, like, a way to quantify if you're getting there or not. Yeah, SMART goals are like a thing. Like, it's an acronym. Don't ask me what the acronym means, but... Oh gosh, I know some of them. So like the T is timely, right? So like short or long-term goal, but it has like a beginning and an end point. What is R? I don't remember any of them, but basically, like, they're quantifiable, they have, like, start and end points, they're achievable. Ah, the A is achievable. You don't want to pick something that's, like, impossible to do in the time frame that you picked. I totally failed my December goal. I had 11 models to get done, but holidays are messy, so I'm letting it slide. Just add it to the January goal, right? Specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and timely. Thank you. Yeah, I think the M is measurable. Yes. But yeah, so I try to stick to that and try to... It also helps me to, like, visualize what it looks like when I get to the goal, which is really motivating for me. And yeah, I don't know what else. I want to be really picky about who I play with this year. So I'm not going to be playing just like pickup games. I probably won't do any events. But we'll see. If something fun and comes up locally, then I'm not going to say I won't do it, but I'm not traveling for sure. This furnace has made it so I'm not really going to have a lot of money, and traveling in Canada is really expensive, especially since to go to Warhammer stuff, I always have to go alone, so I don't have anybody to split the cost with me. So probably not going to do that. And then I want to paint all of my existing Age of Sigmar models. So that's all of my Night Haunt, and I want to paint all of my Ogres, which I have a lot of Ogres. So that is my main hobby goal for the year. I think it's achievable, and I think it probably would only take me like 6 months to paint all of it. I also have a like old boxy Space Wolf Dreadnought, like old, it's metal. And I want to paint that too, because it's just so cute, especially when you put it against like Primaris Marines and stuff, just so little and cute. So I want to paint that too. January goal is another 21 models for a big tournament in mid-February. Don't know if I'm gonna make it. Oh, I think you could do it. I mean, if it's your goal for January into mid-February, I think you should be able to do it. Once I have a goal like that, so like in December I had all of those models that I wanted to paint, and I kind of like broke it down into the weeks, like how long is it going to take me to paint each thing. So the Night Haunt really don't take me that long to paint, so yeah, the 10 Bladegeist was like one of the weeks that I wanted to do, and so even within my goals I like separate it into like smaller goals, and then like as I see stuff getting checked off the little list, it's just so motivating for me to keep going. But yeah, do any of you have any goals for the year? Even if it's just resolutions, if you don't make them quantifiable or whatever. What are you looking forward to achieving this year? So you're probably going to see more of a difference with this highlight layer on these bigger pieces, like the blade arms and the sword, just because they're bigger, and they took the wash better than all like the little dainty pieces. But maybe not. We'll have to wait and see. Been in a queue to get tickets to a Warhammer World Doubles tournament just to finally get through and find they're sold out. Aww. Damn it. Was that a 40k doubles tournament, or was that Age of Sigmar? And do people like take it super seriously when they go to Warhammer World for a tournament? I'm just always curious at like if there's a social difference to how people kind of approach competitive wargaming. Because like in Canada, at least where I live, it's like so serious. Like people will bring like the nastiest lists and stuff, even to friendly tournaments. So yeah, I was kind of curious if it's different over there. Mine are on the resolution side, although I started early, so I don't know if it's properly a New Year's resolution, but working out and seeing my therapist, excellent. Super happy with the progress I've made so far on both parts. I'm excited to keep going. I'm excited for you, Zan. Like, therapy was so good for me. Like, I wish I could actually keep going. But I know that I'm in a good place, so I don't need to keep going, but it's just so helpful to be able to talk about like your past and stuff like that. Warhammer World 1s, you don't just get points for game win, you also get points for table manner and painting. See, and technically you get that here too. But yeah, it still doesn't really change the feel of it. Like, it's still pretty cutthroat here. And like, I think a lot of people just aim to be cordial at the table, but it's still not like, because the games are so big and the time to play is so short, like it just doesn't lead to like a lot of making friends at the table. You're just like more concerned about getting your game done. And like, I don't know. I just at a point in my life where I think that I would just like more chill games. So there's that. Take care of myself more? Yes, Zan. And let other people take care of themselves? Yes. It broke me in 22 to spend all of my time and energy on other people. 23 will be a glorious mess. Yeah. I think that I could also use that a little bit. Like, I always try to make sure that everybody else is happy and taken care of. And I think over Christmas, I just kind of realized that with very few exceptions, like, nobody really cares about me and to make sure that I'm happy and taken care of. So, I'm going to focus more on that, which is again like another reason to step back from my gaming group and just sort of hibernate for a little bit. Something that I need to really work on is not considering people friends when they're actually acquaintances. Like, I need to be able to recognize the difference and then like not invest in acquaintances as much as I do. So that is something that I would like to work on identifying, is like when somebody is a true friend and when somebody is actually an acquaintance. pick up more skirmish games, less to paint, less to haul around, and games are shorter, which means you can be more casual about it. Yeah. I could be down with that. I'm actually really looking forward to. I think I'm gonna pick up Arcs of Omen, because there's those 500-point boarding action missions, and I think that's like up my alley. Plus, we have so much Zone Mortalis, that I think that we could make some pretty sick boards. Sick. I've always had fun at Warhammer World and have always had the feeling that most people are just there to have fun. See, that would be cool. I would like to experience like an event where people are really just there to have fun. Because I feel like this year I really, like in 2022, it was definitely my goal to like help the local community become one that sort of is there to have fun. Or at least my local Age of Sigmar kind of community. And did I not wash this side? Dang, I didn't even wash this side. Alright. Let's do that. I guess we're gonna have a side where we can tell like the difference between the highlights and not. So it was my goal to like create a community where people felt comfortable coming out to play and that the games could be just for fun and people could not take it too seriously. So now I've had a taste of that. But I also thought some of those people were my friends when they weren't, which is fine. We're acquaintances, you know, no ill will or anything. It's more something that like I need to work on. But now that I'm sort of like taking a step back and like reevaluating how I approach friendships and stuff, like, oops, putting it on the wrong side. Damn it, Tanya. So now that I'm like reevaluating all that stuff, I don't know, it would just be nice to like experience that in maybe other games or going to other towns to experience that, but that sounds like a 2024 goal. But I don't end up on the acquaintance list for when I can't even spell the word. No, it's just like some local people. My goal is to just continue what I've been doing, build in myself, find and solidify my personal identity more, and finally get into therapy and get my passport. Man, therapy is amazing. I hope that you can swing that because it's life-changing, honestly. Especially if you struggle with feelings of like self-worth and that, and highly recommend it. take too long for that to dry, but we'll see. Our new furnace actually pulls moisture out of the air, which is kind of cool. So, not that it's like a huge issue here, but it's still kind of cool. As somebody with arthritis, moisture in the air definitely makes it so it's hard to move around some days. Yeah, the wait lists for any sort of like mental health resources in Canada, even if you are eligible for them, the wait lists are just like ridiculous. So, shout out to my boss who actually paid for me to get therapy because he's the real champion. Yeah, I wish that private therapy wasn't so expensive too. Like, wouldn't it be nice if everybody just got like a couple sessions every year as part of like just their like regular healthcare? That would be really nice. Yeah, I think that pink on these jewels will be fantastic. So I'm gonna paint the back of this, like, what would you call this? A cowl? I don't know what you'd call this, but this, like, thing around the keeper's neck. I'm going to just paint it black, because there's not actually a lot of black on the back of the model, whereas there's quite a bit on the front, so I'm going to paint it black. I think that that'll be nice and just really allow the hair to stand out. That's my thought process, anyway. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little bit of this color aside to do the claws while I'm waiting on that that wash to dry, and then I'll mix up the next highlight color. I think that's what I'm going to do. As I just stick my finger in the wash. Whoopsies. Whoopsies. And I didn't wash down here because I just didn't want to deal with it. Because it was actually kind of hard to get this teal color right because of all the peeling that was on there. So I'm not going to go on with this highlight color. I'm going to go on with the next one there. I saw, I don't know if you all kind of follow other content creators, but I saw Kirioth post on Twitter that this is just going to be like the year where he does whatever he wants on his YouTube channel and not worry too much about like numbers and stuff. And I was like, I feel the exact same way. I'm just going to do whatever I want and want to do it. Because once you start doing something and it doesn't like vibe with your values anymore, it's really hard to convince yourself to want to keep doing it. And I actually think the content kind of like you could see it. The content doesn't do as well. So I'm feeling the same way. Okay, so I've separated my paint here into two little piles so that I can go through and do those claws after. But I'm gonna mix up the next highlight layer with more of this white gold. It took me a few months to get an appointment, although part of that is because my therapist adopted a baby. Aww. And I decided to wait until after his parental leave. Yeah. I've noticed a lot of content creators across all genres have started doing that. It seems like the endless chase for likes and subscriptions is burning people out. Yeah, I never really chased it too hard. Like, my channel is not monetized, and because I'm doing shorts, I will probably never reach the threshold to actually monetize my channel. Like, you have to do long form content to monetize, pretty much. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it, but like at the same time, it's like if you're kind of known for something, it gets kind of difficult to let it go, right? So for right now, I'm really enjoying playing Age of Sigmar, and I don't really enjoy playing Warhammer 40k, and it's kind of hard to like stop making 40k content. But I think maybe it is time to jump into more Age of Sigmar content. But yeah, the whole posting all the time, chasing the algorithm and all of that, like it just means that everybody's basically doing the same thing. Everybody's getting burnt out. You'll see more and more, I think, in Warhammer content creators, especially, that there's going to be more like sensational thumbnails and stuff like that, because like it's just going to get harder, I think, for creators to keep going at the pace that they're going at. Like, you're just gonna need to start, like, our hobby is quite niche, right? So there's not gonna be that much going on at all times. So yeah, I think like creators as a whole probably need to step back and be like, this is not sustainable. We should probably stop doing that. Just stitch the shorts into long form. I could possibly do that. Okay, so I'm still waiting on the wash to dry here and here. I'm actually really happy with how this is turning out. I really love the colors that I picked on this one. I'm just gonna do what makes you happy. If you're not feeling 40k, move on. It is hard to do that when you have a Patreon, though, because you kind of feel like I don't want to let the patrons down and all that. And like, I know a lot of the patrons came from my long form content, so like I guess I feel compelled to continue with that. But at the same time, I'm just like really disheartened with the whole like Warhammer community in general. So it's hard to like make content about being nice and just playing games and being a good person. So it's really hard for me to find topics that I actually want to talk about these days. But I'm sure I'll figure it out. Like, I think I will make a return to long form content. I just have to really figure it out. That's the thing. Pull the Patreons, see if the shift would be welcome. I don't have that many Patreon patrons, so I could just ask them. I don't need to like actually do a poll. It's just a really small, tight-knit community, which I'm super happy with. Like I'm not too interested in growing it too much more. Like it's not a. I mean, if people want to join in, that's awesome. But I think that we have a really sweet little community of people who are super kind and all that, and so I don't feel the need to like push my Patreon all the time because yeah, I don't know, I just don't feel the need to. But yeah, in general, I used to ask people like, oh, what should I make for content? And I never really felt like inspired to do any of their ideas, so I'm like really hesitant to ask. But like asking if they would be okay with a change is it's probably okay, but I always also wanted to make evergreen content. Like I didn't necessarily want to like make that content that doesn't age very well. So that's another thing. And most of the big content creators all kind of make the same thing because they signed the NDA, which means that they all have the same date that they can release, well, that they have to release their content, and so a lot of it doesn't age well, I don't think. So I would like to figure out a way, like Be Nice Roll Dice was aging well, I think. It's just like finding the will to, and then finding people. That's the other thing, like just having people just cancel last minute, like when you're already a super busy person. I don't know, it's so frustrating. So the next highlight that I'm going to do is just like that straight up white gold. That's what I'm going to do. So that'll be like a little bit of an edge highlight and just like picking out the super tippy top details. I don't play 40k AO or AOS and I still follow you. So you follow for the painting, Jeff, or it's a fun positive thing that I can listen to while I work, and a lot of it is applicable to all war games. Yeah, see, that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be I wanted it to be like more universal, and I wanted it to appeal to sort of newer players as well, because I feel like there's not actually a lot of content out there sort of geared to people who are brand new. And when I was starting, I was like, it's really hard to navigate like all the jargon and all that, and I was kind of, when I was getting started, wishing that there was There was more out there for beginners like myself, so... But yeah, there's definitely some issues with Be Nice Roll Dice that make it really hard to, like, keep at it. The main one is the guests. So if I could figure out something to do just by myself, that would probably be better. Like, I'd be more consistent with putting stuff out if I could just do it myself. The painting and just overall pleasant tone, no sensational BS. I can't do it. It's just a nice bit of hobby content. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, I did not want to do like GW's newest scandal. Like, I just don't want to. I don't want to do that kind of content. I don't find it interesting to watch, and it just seems really negative. Because, like, at the end of the day, as much as I have like some issues with the community and GW as a company and stuff like that, at the end of the day, I do like to play games. I do like to paint miniatures, and I want to do more content that like aligns with that. Yeah, the sensational stuff, I just like I see it come up in my newsfeed sometimes, and it just makes me kind of chuckle. Like, I don't know, like, it seems like that happens on slow news days too. If that makes sense, it's like, oh, there's not really any drama, so let's just like find something and blow it way out of proportion. And it's funny because like old school content creators really don't like it either. Like, a lot of them kind of like chuckle about it behind closed doors. I feel like I haven't caught a stream since last year. Hey, Mr. Fish, how's it going? I hope that your holidays were amazing. I saw your really cute family photos that you posted. Adorable. I enjoyed those immensely. Oh, there's a water drop on there. Saved it. Well, if you're questioning whether to continue Be Nice Roll Dice, I guess it's good you didn't get the Nice Dice knuckle tats. Yep. It is still, like, something that I believe in personally. It's just, like, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I'm screaming into the void, if that makes sense. Doing it by yourself is hard. I've been trying to work up the gumption to start a gaming podcast, but I don't have anyone to partner up with, so it's hard. It is. It is. I'm super grateful to like be on Forge the Narrative, because that is a team of people, and it's just, it feels like hanging out with friends. I mean, that is essentially what it is, but it feels just like getting to talk to my friends every week. And it would be nice if I could get Be Nice Roll Dice to be like that. So there's like two options going forward for me, I think, with that. If I decide to keep Be Nice Roll Dice, is one, figure out a way just to do it myself, or two, just have like rotating guest hosts. Like it's just the same cast of people that I kind of draw on, who are reliable. I did want originally the video cast to be like introducing other nice people from the hobby, like other content creators that you could check out that were also nice. But like, I don't know, content creators are like busy doing their own stuff. It's hard to get some of them to like, I don't know, show up on time. Which I get, you know, they gotta prioritize the things that actually make them money. I get it. I get it. Definitely blessed with a great family. Holidays were good. Managed to squeeze in some hobby time, which was nice. Definitely getting back to normal. Yeah, I find the holidays a little challenging every year. I'm like a little bit of a humbug, so I usually cry at least one day during the holidays. This year was no different. But at least it was only one day this year. Oh, baby, get excited. Personal growth. My foot is falling asleep. Okay. So the change was subtle. I don't know if you saw it while it was happening, but it's kind of good that I left these claws, because now I think that you can see between, say, this and this, the difference in the color. So it's like quite brassy looking still, whereas this looks more like rose gold. It's like a softer kind of hue. So it's like toned down almost. Like you can tell that that copper color is still underneath there in the shadows, but it's a lot less brassy. I'm also really tired today. My dog got me up. What time was that? Like 1:30?
Yep.
1:30 to go outside, and well, my dog will not go in the backyard. So 1:30 we're walking around the block. I'm so tired. But we love them, right? We love them. That's why we put up with it. But I was so mad. I was like out there and I was like, you better do something. If you got me up for nothing, I'm gonna be so mad. But no, he did. He had to go. It's like, okay. You can absolutely see the difference. It makes the purple pop so much. I'm actually really happy with how this is turning out so far. Once the last, so I'm gonna do the, I've decided I'm gonna do the bone claws the same color as the hair, and then I just have to do the gems and then fix up the black parts, do a little bit of highlighting on them, and then it's done. I'll hand it back to Ryan to do the base. The last time I tried to paint this scheme on something, I wanted to try and go hard, and I just broke myself. So since that day, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna paint for the joy of it and not try too hard, and that's making this one a lot more enjoyable. Thanks, Shaka Minis. She's coming along. And actually, I feel like she hasn't taken as long as I thought she would. I think if I was silly and actually went through with that, like, cheetah print idea, I'd still be doing cheetah print. So glad I decided against that. So I also have this theory when it comes to like color theory and miniatures. I think if you choose a paint scheme that is really vibrant with great contrast, I think it doesn't have to be the most intense paint job in the world, like in terms of a bazillion highlights and whatnot. And I think that people will think that your skill level required to do it was much greater than it actually was. That's my theory. Because my new Space Wolf paint scheme is actually really difficult to do. And it's really difficult to do. but it doesn't have the same high contrast, and so people aren't as like wowed by it. It's like dark slate blue and kind of a muted ivory kind of buttercream yellow. And yeah, so I just thought that that was really funny because I put so much so much effort into that Ragnar model and like nobody saw it. So anytime I paint something that's really bright with like crazy colors that like maybe other people wouldn't put together, um, people always think that that's my best paint job ever. Like people think my orcs are my best painted army. They're not. They're just bright. I enjoy animal prints so much, especially in my squigs. Your squigs look amazing. I really enjoy those. Okay. I think I'm okay with leaving that sword there because it's going to have more edges for me to edge highlight with the straight white gold. So I think that's fine to call it there. It has like a little bit less of the highlight on it, but it's going to have more edge highlight. The bright green is perfecto. Gives it so much pop. Thank you. Okay. Oh, I'm doing the wrong color first. Okay, I think that these might be a little bit trickier to paint. Oh, okay, there we go. So let's see how this goes. Paint's a little wet. There's that hydrophilic monument hobbies action for you that I was mentioning earlier. Okay, let's try this again. There's so much like fine detail in these sort of bone claw things that this might take a little bit of concentration to make sure that I don't muck this up too bad. Yes, if I turn blue, please remind me to breathe. Oh, hey, hey. So last night I put together some of my Cadia Stands box, which Ryan got for me for my birthday. So just sort of been holding on to it for a while. And there are so many pieces to those infantry models. Like, I'm sorry, an infantry model that's over 11 pieces? Why? It's so much work to put together, and they're so detailed, they're gonna be so much work to paint. And then I'm like, they're gonna last exactly 11 seconds on the table before I need to, like, remove them. It just seems like almost a waste to put this much effort into them. But I know I was one of the few people that, like, when others were like, oh, I wish that they'd remake the guard kits, I was like, no. I have so many already, I don't want to have to build more, but now I do because you get free upgrades, so I'm going to have to build a bunch of, like, special weapons to go into my infantry squads, and yeah, it's just like these guys just don't last. I'm gonna have to put those Cadian shock troopers into a chimera just so that they can maybe survive into turn 2. I've been trying to paint 90s paint style for my space orcs. It's so hard. What is 90s style? Is that like the original heavy metal style? Yeah, goblin green bases for sure. Was goblin green bases a thing in Warhammer 40k, or was that fantasy battles?
It was everything.
Everything? It just doesn't seem very grimdark, you know? You can already see a clear difference in the gold colors. Yeah, you can kind of see it when I hold it like that. It's like, it's subtle, but I think it gives it a lot more depth than just dry brushing. I think. Although, I will admit, I do dry brush my custodies. I do edge highlight a little bit on them, but I don't spend that much time. The whole point of that army was like, how fast can I get it done? And still have it look somewhat like my style. That's a lot of pieces. It is, yeah. Hey Tom, how's it going? See, all those fiddly troops is why they all have so many tanks. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I like playing more like combined arms style. Oh no, I'm gonna have to fix that. That should not be too hard to fix. So like I like playing combined arms style, but I just don't know if I could play like infantry heavy just because it's so much painting. And in order to do it like in my style to match the rest of what I already have, it would just take so long. Okay, so what do I do on the underneath? I don't actually have to do that much because I want it to be a little bit darker. So we'll do a little bit here. I think that's fine. I don't need to do too much on the bottom. Because it just needs to look a little bit darker anyway. So I'll just catch some of the edges here, and then that will be done. A little bit here. Yeah, I think that that'll be good enough. And then I won't do any edge highlights down here with the brighter color. That'll just be good enough, just like that. Okay. Where did I get to here in the chat? Hey, Hydra Queen, how's it going? Speaking of horde armies, with the new Ark of Omens detachment, you can run 360 grots in a list and only need to fill in the HQ and another 500 points. That sounds like horror. Like, my back hurts just thinking about that. I'm not sure I like that. Hey, Tom started your new army. What did you end up starting? I mean, don't you have everything already, Tom? I'm doing well, Hydra Queen. We all survived the holidays and looking forward to fresh starts, I think. How are you doing? The reason I'm trying to paint the old heavy metal style is because I got the Warhammer 40k second starter box. It's the hardest rules ever. I, like, literally don't know anybody who played in second. Well, except maybe Tom. Maybe Tom played in second. US Ariadna Ranger Force in Infinity. I really like those models, actually. Maybe I should paint some Infinity models this year, Ryan.
I have a ton.
I know you have a ton. You have hundreds.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, I love Ariadna.
Ariadna's your favorite?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Infinity except that it looks cool. Maybe this is the year that we start Infinity. It can't be any harder than Warhammer 40k.
I don't think it is.
I don't think anything is as hard as 40k.
If it is, as long as it makes sense.
Yeah. Heading to my local game store to pick up some minis for the player characters in my D&D campaign. Wait, you're buying your player characters their minis? That's like Dungeon Master of the Year right there. Doing Black Templars. Nice. Is there even enough space on the boarding action table for 360 grots? No, boarding action is only 500 points. You should play. It's an awesome game. Jeff, it just seems really crunchy. And there's like a bazillion models and we don't know what anything is called, and so it would be a bit of a process, I think. I did Eldar. Oh, you did. You played Eldar in second. Okay, back at it. So, I'm pretty happy with that on the underside, so now I'm going to go ahead and throw this lighter color on the top. Oh, a bit too wet of a brush. Let's try that again. So with the lighter color, I'm kind of sticking a little bit more to the edges, leaving kind of the recesses in that darker color. I have a little nubbin of paint on the end of my brush, which is infuriating for me. Okay. Oh, you played against Elder. I gotcha. I gotcha. And painting them too, Hydra Queen. You are so nice. I have never had a dungeon master offer to paint my minis for me. It was just like, you better bring a painted mini. That was it. I got some new brushes for the holidays and I'm taking extra care to keep them nice and clean. That's awesome. Did you get like Winsor and Newtons, or what did you end up getting? I am like a cheap brush fan. I bought some sables and I just don't like them. But I'm always interested in people's preferences just because, like, it's such, like, in terms of your tools and stuff, it's just so much personal preference what people like, and I just always find it really interesting, the diversity of things that people prefer. Depending on deployment zone, you can only fit approximately 180 grots in the deployment zone. Good thing reserves will be free. Oh my goodness. Are you actually doing that, Mr. Fish, or are you just trolling? Because if you're gonna paint that many grots, I'm gonna be super impressed. Happy New Year, Antonio. How's it going? They're cheap but are model painting ones as opposed to generic brushes. Okay. It's like the brushes that I use. These ones are like 25 cents a piece and they're like my workhorses. And they come in all sorts of different sizes, right? So they go like big to small. And these are what I use the majority of. I bought a few Winsor & Newton Gallerias. They're okay. I think these ones were like $5 each or something like that. And then I got these ones from Home Depot. White Taklon. White and golden Taklon I think are actually like my favorite. Just I like the way that they hold the water. And these ones were like $1.50 each or something like that. But I really like these ones. These ones don't last as long as the 25-cent ones though, which is hilarious. So yeah. But yeah, it all comes down to like how they hold the water for me, since I mean I'm not doing it right now, but I really like to do a lot of glazing and stuff on skin, so I don't find I like the way that the sables hold the water. Ryan, what was one of your favorite brushes?
It was a GW brush that said starter. And it came in a paint pack, and I found that it lasted the longest.
A GW starter brush.
Yeah, it wasn't even like anything, it was just starter.
It was just the one that came in the kit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It didn't even have a size or anything on it, just
Nope,
said starter.
just said starter.
That's hilarious.
And it lasted forever.
You know what's funny about that is my friend Courtney, figuratively speaking minis, her favorite brush she ever had was the brush that came in the Dungeons and Dragons starter painting pack. It just said Dungeons and Dragons on the side of it, and that was like her favorite brush.
Where's that?
Starter brushes, go buy a starter kit right now. Those brushes are the best. If I had that many grots, I would only need 320 more. I'd have to build movement trays so I don't cause aneurysms or get like lower back pain from hovering over the table trying to move that many. My phone is about to die. Aw, well, thank you for stopping in, Hydra Queen. Enjoy your new brushes. Finding something that works for you is like always so inspiring to keep painting. At around 25 bucks a box now for Gretchen is definitely a meme dream. Just 3D print some. There's so many options out there for 3D printed, like anything goblin, pretty much. And I mean, they all have like the exact same loadout, so.
Shiny stuff.
In my Ogre Mod Tribe's army, the goblins have, well, they're Noblars, but same thing. Their weapon profile is sharp stuff. I kid you not. So, these are my 3D printed Noblar / Grots. I love them so much. They all have like these obsidian kind of stone blades. Oh, I just love them so much. If you want to pick up yours, Geargust Mech Shop is having a sale until the 15th. So if you're getting physical models, they are all 20% off of the listed price, just automatically taken out at checkout. If you want to pick up some STLs, the discount code is on the banner on the front page. So all you have to do is take that code and put it into the checkout, and then it'll take 35% off of your STL files. I believe these guys are $9.99 for 10 unique files. So I mean, you could get them for $6.50 if you're printing yourself at home. I should be like throwing down my affiliate link to get a kickback, but I don't care. Just go get the sale. I had some 3D printed Deathcore of Krieg, and they're like 3 pieces and just as good as the GW ones. Yep. 3D printing is like the way of the future. Now with everything so expensive and everything is going up in price except wages, like, I don't know. You just got to save yourself some money wherever you can. And I mean, the GW models are absolutely stunning, but if you're like me and you had to buy a furnace, you can just save yourself some money and get some third-party stuff. And since I didn't sign the NDA, I haven't been offered it, but I wouldn't sign it anyway. I can tell you that. I can say whatever I want. Yeah, GW is like never gonna want to work with me because I'm all like, yay, 3D printing. Yes, I have been on the Forge World. My painting has been on the Forge World website, but they didn't ask me. They didn't ask me. Well, they did ask. They just didn't wait for me to say no. I know a lot of content creators like work so hard to hit that $20,000 milestone so that they can get free stuff. But the way that I look at it is like, but then I don't have a choice. I have to paint that. And like, I don't want to ever have to paint Marines. I'm sorry. I hate painting Marines. I will paint Marines when I want to paint Marines. I'm not going to force myself to paint any Marines. Hot take. I've definitely researched a lot of gobos in the different third-party world. I've debated getting the Dogosaur Gunner STLs and seeing how much my buddy would charge to print. Those are so cute. Like, Yeah, I would definitely add more of those, I think. So we actually have like the little tiny mechanical ones, which are my favorite because I think that I could paint those up real fast. Um, and I just redid the renders for them the other day, and it reminded me of how cute they are with like their little lens eyes and stuff. So that is an option for me for my orcs. But those are what I use for Noblars, and I just think that they're so cute. Thank you so much for all the Warhammer tips. Most of me learning the game has come from your videos. Aww. I'm so glad to have helped Maximoto. Warhammer 40k is ridiculously complicated, and there's not really a lot of resources out there for like literally just getting started. So I have a really hard time learning the game. Always have. Probably always will. Like now I'm sitting here looking at a new guard codex going like, do I continue putting in like 8 hours of studying a week trying to figure it out, or do I just, you know, keep playing Age of Sigmar? um, so I know how difficult it is to learn this game, and I basically am making the content that I wished existed when I was first getting started and struggling figuring out what it all meant. So I'm so glad that it helps you. I had a feeling that I wasn't the only one who needed a visual learning aid. And another thing too is I think a lot of times when older players have been in the hobby for a really long time, I think that it's hard for them to understand where to even begin in teaching somebody. Whereas I've only been playing, I started really playing in 8th. I tried in 7th, but the rule set even then was like super complicated. And then in 8th they made it less complicated, and I really learned to love playing the game. It's not true. I actually played Age of Sigmar first, and I learned to really love playing like tabletop games in general then. But when 8th edition 40k came out, I really learned to love that. And yeah, now it's like hard to keep up with everything. The amount of effort that I have to put in just to keep up with all the rules changes on like a faction basis it's really daunting for me. And yeah, I think sometimes players that have been around for a while, they seem to think it's easy to learn, and it's not easy to learn. So I am here for you. Only marine I've painted was used as basing material. Nice. I did a batch of Doggosaur Gunners, and they are so much fun. Your videos help me, and I've been playing forever. Tom. I feel like you're better at the game than you think, though. That's what I think. To me, the surprise is how many of us in the hobby got the neurospicy brain, and yet they still write the rules like you have a private education. Uh-huh. But you know what? Like, I feel like they could use a technical writer. My husband's over there just like immediately agreeing. Yeah, like for me, everything is just worded really poorly, and I understand that it's there to like stop people from gaming the rules, but there has to be a better way. Sometimes you're reading the rules and they'll say this unit, that unit so many times that you just can't make any sense of what they're actually trying to say. So, yeah, I feel like if they had a technical writer, that wouldn't happen as much. But maybe it would. I don't know. Because, yeah, when they start talking like that, it's like my brain turns off. It's like, wee! just tumbleweeds and crickets chirping in the background. Like the brain turns off.
How many times have I tried to read that Chaos Marine?
Yeah.
2 seconds in.
The husband unit agrees. Yeah, I just feel like there has to be a better way, and since there's not a better way yet, I will continue making visual gaming aids for us to learn together. Although I had somebody arguing with me about like the timing of the shooting phase, so that's what I'm going to conquer today. A lot of times when I make those videos, it's like, okay, this is something I want to learn more about, or this is like a part of the game that I want to master. And in this case, this person was saying like that you like the shots are not all resolved at the same time because you fire each shot individually, but I just don't think that that's the case because you determine your line of sight all at once, right? You declare all of your shots all at once. So I'm going to deep dive into that. I'm going to start researching that tomorrow, polling the tournament organizers that I know to get to the bottom of it, because and this is something people argue about a lot, like a lot about the rules. So I'm going to get to the bottom of it. Y'all, we're going to settle this question once and for all. Okay. At least GW is based in an English-speaking country. There have been quite a number of confusions in Infinity caused by translations, since Corvus Belli is in Spain. Yeah, I could probably get, like, the Spanish instructions, though. Like, my reading Spanish is, like, a lot better than my, like, listening Spanish. So I could probably get the Spanish rules and then compare them. Okay. She's so pretty. I like her so much. Ryan, do you like your new bae?
Yeah.
She's so cute. Speed rolling makes the games have some moments of fuzziness for sure. Yeah, but it's also like, here's the real question. If we, like, are supposed to do each roll one at a time, why do we have to declare all of our shots at the beginning? Like, why at the beginning of the shooting phase do we declare all of our shots, determine our line of sight then? Shouldn't we be doing it, like, one at a time? And that's what makes me think that it's probably everything is resolving at one time. We're just rolling the shots one at a time. So, that's what I'm going to get to the bottom of. Hey, Tristan, how's it going? I love her. It's, I used to think, like, oh, it's going to be really hard for me to, like, give this model back once it's done, but because it's staying in my house, I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and do just quick edge highlights. And I'm going to do this on there's like beads everywhere, so I'm going to do that on the beads as well. And I'm just going to go in, no, not light bronze. That's a lie. I'm going to go in with just straight white gold. So this is a bit more of a transparent paint. It's just like the nature of this particular paint. So it probably won't end up being a very stark edge highlight, but I'm okay with that. Nothing really on this model has really stark edge highlights in the way that I'm doing it, so I'm just going to go ahead and put just a little bit of this on the palette, because I'm not mixing it, so I don't need a ton. Okay, so let's see how it looks. I'm not going to do too much, but just like a little dab. Dibby dab. So this color, like I said, it's pretty transparent. But I just want it just to like catch a little bit of the highlights on these beads. And not all of them, just ones that are kind of like front and center. And then just a little bit on some of the higher edges here. Just catches the light just a little bit. My understanding is it's like Melee, where all eligible targets are determined, then all attacks are resolved. So someone can't pull from the front and be like, sorry, no more shooting the last. That's my understanding as well. But apparently people need to see like the actual wording of stuff to believe me. So, yeah. I mean, just because the way, like, I tend to believe the person who basically taught me how to play. Which there's two people. One is my husband, who's been playing since 3rd edition. Yeah, 3rd edition. And then the other one is Alex McDougall, who is an Art of War coach and one of the best hive mind players in the world. So, that like a person who constantly goes to tournaments, I just tend to believe them. But at the same time, people are capable of making mistakes. So, for the purposes of the next video, I am going to get to the bottom of it. What do you guys think? Do you think I should put a gem in this hoof, or should I just leave it gold? Kind of thinking just leave it gold, but maybe that's boring. I don't know. Okay. Of course we have a bot. Let's see here. Remove. And there. Of course. Dude who is behind a wall, so now I gotcha. Yeah, exactly. I've never seen it played that way, but I have had people argue with me in the comments about it, so I'm just gonna get to the bottom of it. I'll make a video about it, and then the next time somebody wants to argue with me about it, I'll be like, oh, there's actually a video, so here you go. Also, the funny thing about making these videos is I made a video 6 months ago that just recently, for some reason, took off. I don't know why. And since then, I used a guard example, and it's a new book. So now I have so many comments that are like, this isn't how it works. And I was like, yeah, I know it doesn't work like that now, but it did. So that's kind of an annoying thing about making these videos, but at the same time, like, the scenario has changed, but for every other faction, it is still accurate, the idea behind it. So I'm leaving the videos up. But it's so funny. People, I think, can't separate the concept of the rule that I'm trying to demonstrate from the faction. So, what can you do? I was doing some punching and didn't see the chat. That's okay. I got it taken care of. I hear my DOG stirring in the next room. I wonder if that means that it's walk time. Usually when he wakes up, it's time to go.
Try it again.
It does. Maybe he just rolled over. Y'all, she's so pretty. Boxy gloves also make it hard to type on a phone. Yeah. You didn't use Tao, who can auto Overwatch, to punish the hypothetical situation in question? For shame. How am I supposed to learn if you aren't chasing meta rules? I mean, I am limited to my factions, right? Like, I have to use... Well, I mean, I guess I don't have to use painted miniatures, because we have a ton of unpainted miniatures. But also the thing is, like, I don't know a lot of, like, the rules for other factions, so... Yeah, that's kind of, like, a limit. I try to keep my models in there so I know my rules. But yeah. I will engage with people who, like, want to critique my work, but there's, like, some people who just roll in, like, angry, and I don't engage with those people. I don't understand that, too. Like, some people literally just roll in like they want to fight. It's like, what is wrong with you? Don't fight with people on the internet. That's, like, the golden rule of happiness. At least it is for me. Yeah. They're our puppy. He just wants to fight all the time. Use D&D miniatures, Lego minifigs, bottle caps. Definitely bottle caps. That would be actually pretty funny. Just to use anything but Warhammer models. Although I do think that there's a number of people who literally just stick around to see the miniatures. And that's cool too. That would be funny though, just to, like, maybe April Fools, I'll, like, release a video and it'll just have no miniatures in it whatsoever. Just switch everything out to like, so like do Warhammer rules, like 40k rules, but have like Age of Sigmar miniatures. That'd be so funny. Just make up all the rules. My favorite idea for minis in a D&D game was using wine corks. Would you paint them? Would you have painted wine corks? Like just take a felt pen and draw like smiley faces on them or something? Or like the face that best represents their overall personality. Maybe they're all smiley faces, but the eyebrows change. I got the bit of the shakes today. That's okay. When your hand starts shaking, you just do your best. Just do your best. Bases only. Purple Commandos versus Stealth Suit Tau, obviously. Oh, that's so funny. I'm not going to do too much edge highlighting on the bottom side of the sword, just because I do want it to appear mostly dark. So I'm just basically going to do this edge here. Sorry if you can't see, it's just I'm bracing myself on myself, so it's a little... Do a little bit here. Just a little. Not too much. Just a little bit. And then those little gems are going to be pink in the sword, so I don't have to do any highlighting on them. But, oh, it's so bright you can't see. I wonder if there's no way I can actually show you, like... I take this one away. Nope. I assure you that there are edge highlights there. We each drew a little picture of our character on one side and decorated the rest. Then each of us had pins with a different color head on them, so that we could jab them into monster corks to mark them and track effects and stuff. Oh, that's actually pretty cool, Zen. Get some food and a beer. It'll help with the shakes. I actually have a beer in the fridge. I have one left over from New Year's Eve. It's not a bad idea. Okay, let's do just a little bit of edge highlighting here. Not too crazy. You're just going to do these ones. And just on the top. Just these edges. is like a little bit too much paint there. Went a little paint happy. I'm gonna do a little bit here. The good thing about this paint being kind of transparent is it's a little bit more forgiving on this highlight stage than if it was an opaque paint. Because it kind of shows the color underneath, makes it more subtle. So I'm just going to catch just a little bit right here on all of these little panels. And then the edges. Okay. So that's that. I'm just gonna do these two arms and then all that gold is done. Do I edge highlight that? I think no. I'm not gonna bother. A beer in the hand is worth two in the fridge. Touché. Touché. Oh man, if I like drank beer and painted, I feel like that's a recipe for disaster. Disaster, I tell you. I haven't decided if I'm going to do these little gems pink or not, or gold. I'm kind of leaning gold, but so that's why I'm painting them, the ones on the gauntlets here. So that's why I'm painting them, just because I haven't quite decided. But they might end up being pink. I'm going to paint all the rest of the gems and then see how I feel. Okay. I'm actually shocked the dog hasn't come to bother me. Yeah, he did have a pretty big morning. That's why he's not being a menace. Don't worry, he'll be a menace later. It's the cutest menace you've ever seen, though. Our friends came over the other day and I was showing them something on my computer. Started up my computer and my wallpaper came up and they just all laughed. Because they know my dog's full name is Lucas the Trickster. My wallpaper is a picture of Lucas the Trickster, my dog's head on the body of Lucas the Trickster, the space wolf. And they all just laughed, and I thought that was really funny. Only if you drink too much. I find that if I have one or two, it helps mellow me out and relax, and I can paint a little better. Probably mellows me out too bad. Painting is my zen time, so I normally don't need any assistance with mellowing out to paint. My brain just automatically goes into chill mode. I would probably just like lose concentration, be like, I'm gonna go sit on the couch, watch a movie instead. Play games. Oh, should show you guys. I found a game, a mobile game, and I actually think it could be a good game to like learn color theory, because it's tough. It's like a tough game, but basically it shows you a pattern of different like polygon shapes, and it's in a gradient between two colors, and sometimes those colors make brown. And you have to basically, then they mix them all up, then you have to put them back into order. And holy, it's like a color theory game. Like, okay, if I mix this and this, what color does it make? Okay, so like which of these polygons is the closest to that? I don't know. It's cool. I'm enjoying it. I don't even know what it's called. Let me pull it up. Also, I'm done. So, done with the gold. There's our Slaneshi Bay at this point. So I'm gonna pull up this game and show y'all, because it's so cool. So yeah, it's got a cheesy name. So it's called I Love Hue 2, I believe, but it's really pretty. So mine's been a menace for the last couple of days. Yours is even younger than mine. Frickin' puppies, man. Okay. Let me see if I can actually turn this off. I think you'll be able to see better. Nope. I'm turn this one. Okay. And I will turn up this. Okay. So, daily divination is kind of hard. So I'll just like pull you up here. Okay. We'll just replay this one because I've already done it. So basically, that's your template. That's what you're trying to make. I'm just going to show you the... And they jumble it all up. And then you have to put it back together. And you're like, well, that doesn't seem so hard. But some of them are really hard. Usually when you go around the outside, it's pretty easy because the colors are more saturated. But then as you get into the middle, it gets harder. So... I just think it's so cool, this game, you guys. And then it just switches them. So you're trying to get it done in like as few moves as possible. But yeah, I don't know. I've just been like really enjoying this game. And if color theory is something that you ever struggle with, this could be a good tool to like teach you the basics about like blending colors and where they end up and stuff. So that's like my odd painting tip of the day. If you need a fun way to learn color theory, there it is. And it's cheesy. It's called I Love Hue 2. But yeah, I've been playing that and I feel like I'm becoming a better artist because of it. So let me turn this one back on. You said it's called I Love Hugh? Yeah, it's like I think it's called I Love Hugh or I Love Hugh too, something like that. Thank you for stopping in today, Jeff. I hope you have a wonderful day. So yeah, if you need a little help and you like to gamify things, like I do, that's probably a pretty good little tool to start with. Alright, so that's where we got to today. All of the gold is now done. And then, so what do I have left to do? I'm literally going to do nothing off stream on this because I don't need to. So, all I have left is the gems. And I'll probably work on that next next week. And we need to do these bone swords as well, which are going to end up like this kind of light lilac kind of white color. So we're going to do that on the bone swords next week as well. And then I think that would probably be it for next week. And then the only thing that we have to do after that is all of the black. So basically rebase coat all the black and then do a little bit of highlights on it, and then we're done. And then we finished it. So nice. Oh, thank you so much. How are you doing? So yeah, I'm gonna start thinking of another project that I can do on camera for you guys. Maybe I'll do that like chunky little boxy dreadnought. Would you guys enjoy seeing like an old school Space Wolf dreadnought being painted? Because I think that might be fun to see something old school. But yeah, that's where I'm at. And then also we could go from something like super bright like this into something a little bit more muted. I'll show you guys the paint scheme that I'm going to be going for on it. So this will be the paint scheme that I'm going to be trying to do on the dreadnought. So it'll be like this red, this yellow, and this really sort of dark steely blue-gray. But yeah, I think that'll be what we do, because I've just been itching to like paint that thing, and I think it'll be interesting to see it in a bit of a updated paint scheme than like that baby blue Space Wolves color. Okay, I am an hour and 10 minutes over schedule, but I'm just really glad that we got all that gold done. So I'll give you one more look. So yeah, then I think 2 more sessions and I'll be ready to hand this back off to Ryan so he could base it and add it to his collection. But I'm really happy with how it's looking so far. So, what about from me? So, like I said, on Wednesday, I'm going to be doing a Warhammer 40k explained on the timing of the shooting phase. And then Friday on Just Put Paint on It, we have Duncan Rhodes. So if you want to come out and hang out in the chat with Scary, myself, and Duncan, we will be asking him your questions from the chat. Would love to see you there for that one. He's always a blast. And I think that's all that I have for you all. So if you need anything, make sure to send me a message. I always like to help wherever I can. If you need a timely answer, the best way to do that is through the Patreon Discord, because notifications for everything else is turned off. And yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope that you have a lovely new year. I hope that it is full of prosperity, and I hope that you reach your SMART goals. So until next time, be nice and roll dice. Bye, everybody.